I was like so disappointed in him in this moment.
Jerry, you're a piece of shit. I hope you know that.
This is Growing Up Millennial, a podcast all about that media we loved in the 90s and early aughts. I'm Helene, a quintessential millennial who loves media so much that I made a career out of it.
And I'm Adri, a geriatric millennial who grew up in a tropical island.
Amazing.
Well, this season on this fine podcast, we're seeing double because it's about the legends, the icons who started their career off as Baby Michelle in Full House, the Olsen twins.
Also known as Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Also known as the designers behind the iconic fashion brand, The Row.
And more recently known as Elizabeth Olsen's older sisters.
Well, this episode is all about switching goals. Released on December 12th, 1999. We are about inching into that 24-year mark, guys. And directed by David Steinberg.
Yes.
How are you doing, Helene? Welcome back to the show.
Oh man, I have thoughts about this one, as you are well aware. AJ.
Guys, we almost broke up the podcast over this movie. Like, Helene was dead set against putting this movie in our list, and I said, not a fucking chance. You are not taking this away from me. And she was like, I hate it so much. And I said, I love it so much. I don't care.
Yeah,
So,
I made an exception because I love Adri, blah, blah, blah. But
blah, 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 blah.
if it were up to me and I was the dictator in charge of this podcast and had no one to answer to, we would have definitely skipped this movie.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't have much fond memories for later movies that we will be discussing that you
True.
also love.
Yes.
So it was more like a draw of like, I'll give you this. I'll give you these two if you give me this one.
No, yeah, I do. I definitely am like, okay, if she's going to let us talk about the challenge later, I can do this one. Plus, like, really, though, if the worst problem that I have is having to watch a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie that I don't love as much as all the other Mary-Kate and Ashley movies, like, that's like not the worst punishment.
That is like picking, like, that is like rereading your least favorite Emily Henry book, you know?
Right.
For the girlies who know, you know.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad still. It's like not great, but it's you know, it's an American Ashley movie.
It was almost the episode and podcast that never was, to be honest with you guys.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Well, Helene, why don't you tell us what happens in this beautiful film that we just saw?
All right, so in switching goals, for identical twins, Emma and Sam couldn't be more different. Emma loves dresses, accessories, nail polish, and all things girly. Sam is your typical tomboy with an aptitude for every sport under the sun. Their father, Jerry, is a hyper-competitive owner of what seems to be a knockoff Dick's Sporting Goods store, who also happens to coach in the boys' youth soccer league. When the league suddenly decides to go co-ed and both girls want to join, Jerry has to learn the hard lesson that sometimes winning isn't everything, and that letting your daughters trade places so that you can win a trophy is totally not okay.
Wow. I mean, these 30-year-old men are learning some hard truths in this movie. And that's what I want everyone to know.
Yes. I'm sorry. I have so many thoughts. I will get to them later.
All right. So let's get to the 411 and talk about some fun facts about this production. Most notable fun fact, Michael Cera has a small role in the movie as this bratty kid named Taylor, and I stan Taylor. It's fine.
I definitely did a double take because, like, obviously the second I saw him, I was like, oh my God, that's Michael Cera. But of course he's like what, like 11? Like he is so young.
I mean, he
So
must be like 7, honestly. I don't know.
yeah, I guess it's 1999. I have no idea how old Michael Cera is, but he's very young in this. And I definitely had to do some IMDb digging because it didn't show up immediately. Like I don't think he's on the
The
cast
credits?
page
Yeah,
for
no, I don't
this.
think so.
So I was like, I have to make sure this is actually Michael Cera, and it is, but I definitely squeed a little bit.
Michael Cera of Barbie the movie fame.
Yes, beautiful. I love Alan.
Beautiful.
Yes, but
Right.
apart from Michael Cera, eh, in general, Switching Goals, like you said, was released on December 12th, 1999, which, by the way, is my sister's 19th birthday. She was born on December 12th, 1980. So just happy birthday, Shira. Uh,
Wait
and
till like are you doxing your own sister on this podcast?
I mean, it's her birthday.
That's
It's not bad. It's her birthday. I mean, listeners, I'm a huge Buffy fan, and there's a Buffy podcast that I would listen to where one of the hosts would literally every single episode release date, she would relate back to when it was, how close it was to her birthday. So it just seems natural.
I mean,
Um,
fair. I would also do this. Just kidding.
Anyway, Switching Goals was written by David Kukoff and Matt Roshkow, which I think you have some stuff on them a little bit later on that you
Yes,
wanted
I
to talk
do. I
about.
do. I can talk about it right now if you want.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is a writing duo that seemed to show promise in 1999, but none of those movies that they wrote got much praise and or press. So, but I want everyone to know that David, one half of the duo, lists himself on LinkedIn as a quote script doctor specializing in independent genre and prestige films in the $5 to $25 million budget range. Just so you know,
It
the more you know.
does not surprise me one bit that you went and found him on LinkedIn.
I mean, I am a professional first and foremost, Helene, and I take what we do in this podcast very seriously. Okay.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
gotta break some ground, make some news, and find those exclusives wherever we can.
Yeah, you dig deep. I gotta say though, it doesn't surprise me that their movies didn't get much praise. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm gonna roast this movie so much. Um, Sorry. What are their names? Dave and Matt. Sorry, guys. Um, but as well as being written by the beautiful duo of Kukoff and Roshkow, it was also directed by David Steinberg. Which that sounds familiar. Was he the director of
He
Passport to
was
Paris as well?
no. He
No. Okay.
was he's mostly been a director of TV episodes. He
Okay.
directed 8 Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes, 1
Oh,
episode of Weeds in season
I
4
love
episode
Weeds.
3.
Oh, it's the one with
And
Mary Kate, right?
yes, yes. So I wanted to talk about that real quick. He did not direct Mary Kate because Mary Kate uh, joined season 3, episode 6, and was a series regular up until season 3, episode 15.
Oh, so he did it before she got on the show.
No, he did it after. He did it on season 4, episode 3.
Oh, okay. I thought okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, I do. I very vividly remember her on Weeds, her little
Oh yeah,
stint on Weeds.
it was a big publicity due to have gotten Mary Kate because
Yeah.
she wasn't doing a lot of acting back then.
Yeah, it's also like really controversial because like Mary Kate and Ashley are such like staple kids movie
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Like
And
family oriented stuff.
right. And she was like a teenager still. She wasn't that old. So or
It, I
maybe
bu-
she was early 20s. She might have been 20.
early 20s for sure.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, so I do remember seeing her on there and like it's always a pleasure seeing them anywhere. I love the Olsen twins, which is why we're doing this
Of
podcast.
course. Another fun fact, it was filmed in Toronto, Canada. So like we have gone
Okay.
international once again.
I feel like a lot of movies are filmed in Canada.
Yes. And then it was produced by Warner Brothers and Dualstar Productions. So
Okay.
there's
Well, did you know that Switching Goals is the first of 2 projects in which Eric Lutz plays their on-screen father. He plays Jerry, obviously, in this one. But he also plays their father in the TV series So Little Time from 2001.
Ah, there you go.
So that's a fun fact.
So the Spanish title for this movie was Campeonas por Igual, which loosely translates to equally champions or equal champions, which is just not as good as switching goals.
That kind of gives away the ending.
The what?
The ending of the
Equally
movie.
champions, yeah.
Yeah, because it ends on a, okay, I don't want to, I mean, spoiler alert for the end of this podcast episode, but it ends with a tie because neither of them score. Um, yeah. Well,
and one more. So sorry.
Oh.
I got one more in me.
Okay.
There was a novelization of this movie, so please watch out for paperbacks at your local thrift store and let us know if you find any.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool if someone found it and sent us a picture of it. Please
I
do.
know. Please do.
It's gummypod@gmail.com. Is that our email?
Yes, it is gummypod@gmail.com and at gummypod on Instagram.
Yes, please send it to us. My final little bit of info in our 411 section is that Mary Kate's love interest in this film, Greg, who we will talk about definitely, he is played by Trevor Bloomis, who went on to play Teddy Harwood alongside Michelle Trachtenberg in the absolute 2005 classic Ice Princess.
Which, by the way, the original script for Ice Princess was written by one of my favorite writers, Meg Cabot, who is the writer of the
Princess Diaries.
Princess Diaries series. Yes.
Is there? Wait, she wrote the screenplay for the movie.
Yes, she wrote
Is
the
there a
screenplay.
novel? Did she write a book about it?
No, she did not. Actually, which is funny. I know this because I am obsessed with Meg Cabot. I always have been, always will be, like, just die hard. They changed her script so much that she says that the only thing they left in was the Zamboni.
No way. Oh my God,
I'm sure it's like a joke where, like, they changed it so much, but it's whatever, that the Zamboni thing is the only thing that they kept in. But I can kind of tell, like, just Meg Cabot has, like, a really specific way of writing her characters and her heroines and heroes. And I'm just like, I just want the original script, guys. I just want to see that. Can I get
amazing.
my hands on that?
I wonder if you can find it anywhere online or something. That'd be really interesting.
Probably not. But because it's only like they only kind of publish like the final versions of them, I guess.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. That's super interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that they like brought maybe they brought in David, now that he's a script doctor to doctor up that script.
That whole story is really giving off like Rick Riordan, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief with Logan Lerman movie vibes.
Tell me more about that.
Oh, it's just that movie, like the studios changed so much from the books that Rick Riordan like disowned that series of movies because it's just so not like close
but this
to his
was
source material at all.
Yeah, but this was like a little, I think it hits harder because it was her first like screenplay that she wrote, and she'd been writing novels all this time, right? So I understand it's a different format, and maybe they brought in someone to kind of maybe chop it up a little bit and make it more like translate into film or to like into a screen. But still, I don't think she's written a script ever since.
Well, we've learned the hard way that sometimes really good novel authors are not great screenplay writers. Not saying that that's the case. Not saying that's the case for Meg Cabot. She's probably a great screenplay writer, but I'm just gonna say Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Okay,
I'm just gonna leave it there.
Let's just move on because I'm done with that for my life. Thank you.
Yeah. So, awesome. Are you ready to talk about the movie?
Yeah, let's dish. Okay. Open it up. I'm opening the floor up for commentary. Do you want to go first?
Like just general thoughts before we get to date.
I mean, we all know you hate it, so let's get into your thoughts.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, so this movie, they're just the writing. It's not like okay. So the writing was bad in the sense of the plots just made no fucking sense, and there are so many plot holes, and there are things that like I just can't. I can't. I don't. We'll get into it. There's too many small
Okay.
things.
Let's get into it. Come on, come on. My first no, what is up with these fonts? Like, guys,
You always notice the fonts.
I can't not notice the fonts, like, because of my job being what
Yeah,
it is.
that's fair. That's fair.
Like,
Um, the first thing I noticed was that once again, just like in Passport to Paris, they are using bandanas to tell them apart. And like, is
Listen,
that I don't know if I've just forgot this or not, but like, is this a thing that happens in every Mary Kate Ashley movie? Like, and it's actually helpful because like Mary Kate is like the always like the more tomboyish character in terms of like
yes, agree,
and
hard agree.
like yeah, like both of them were girly in Passport to Paris, but like definitely Mary Kate's character had like more of a more like tomboy style
Well,
than
Switching Goals
Ashley.
really reminds me of their TV series because it was
Oh, Little
very
Time?
much yes, because it was
Okay.
very much like Mary Kate plays a tomboy and Ashley plays the girly girl, and like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
both want what the other one has kind of
Yeah.
vibe, tension.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I just wonder if that's how they were in real life. I'm guessing they just play what they're more comfortable with, right? Like Mary
I
Kate probably
guess.
felt a bit more of a tomboy, and Ashley was more of a girly girl, and I don't know.
Mhm.
That's my assumption, but
All
I
right,
mean,
so
it's helpful. It's helpful for viewers to tell them apart.
we open the movie, right, on
Yes,
this like field day type of competition.
yes.
And we see the twins, and of course, we've got like Mary Kate, like you said, like a tomboy. Um,
Wearing her bandana.
Ashley, yes. And Ashley's like, the girly girl who's like, I'm just here
Oh my
to
god, Ashley's
whatever.
outfit in this scene, like we can get into the details in fashion victim segment, but no, it was like my favorite outfit of I loved her outfit in this scene so much.
And then we get to a fortune teller looking lady giving out fortunes and
Yeah.
popcorn. And who is
Yeah.
that but not their mother in this film?
Are you gonna kill me if I make another Gilmore Girls reference?
You get one per episode, okay? So
One for episode.
make it
Yeah,
quick.
it reminds me of the episode where Lorelai takes Paul Anka, her dog, and does like a doggy swami thing at the town fair. I was just like, oh my god, Lorelai Gilmore, this would be something she would totally do.
All right. So love, love the moms. I stan this mom, but like
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
are the
she was pretty
worst.
fun.
You know what I mean? Like kids are absolutely the worst.
Yeah,
And I stan an idol when she goes, popcorn, take it and go. Like, just like, whatever.
yeah. I was like, if it were me and I was doing this job, I'd be like, I see you eating popcorn in the near future, and then you would always be right.
Unless they weren't there for the popcorn, I guess.
Yeah, but it seemed like they all kind of were.
I mean, who doesn't like popcorn?
Except for
Guys,
that one
at
girl
us.
who was like, "Tell me who I'm gonna be in the future. Like, what am I gonna grow up to be?"
And she's like, dancer?
Ew, who wants to be a dancer? I want to be an astronaut.
So, like, okay, girl, just take your fucking popcorn and go. Like,
Yeah, get out of here.
can't win. Can't win.
Yeah,
Honestly, be like, whatever your heart desires. I don't know,
right.
got a kid? Like, move on.
So yes,
Anyway,
we see their mom doing the. I don't really understand why she was anyway. Like they don't explain why she was like dressed as a psychic or whatever. But um, there. This is where we see the first glimpse of their father's like hyper competitive spirit, wanting to win this like field day competition, and just like without an eye, batting an eye, like asking Sam, who is the tomboy, sporty one, to compete with him in the wheelbarrow race. Is it the what is it called? Is it called the wheelbarrow race?
I believe so. As someone who is not into sports at all, I don't know. We are the
Yeah.
wrong people to host this podcast today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't sports movies are not my thing, but yeah, the wheelbarrow thing where the dad is like holding her legs and she's like it's basically just a contest of who, like, what kid can like crawl the fastest without her legs. Like it's just like crawling on the ground with her arms fast.
Yeah.
Um, but like they do like such a long shot on Mary Kate as she's crawling, like the whole time. They have it just like zoomed in on her the whole time.
It was an interesting choice, I will say that.
Yeah.
Then what else do you have for that? Or are they gonna like I say there's a comment about Emma striking out on T-ball later on when they're in their room, like talking about their
Yeah.
strengths and
So
weaknesses.
well, before we get to that, we cut to they're at the home and the mom and dad are like putting away dishes after dinner or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
like the mom is like telling him you're too competitive or whatever. Um,
Oh, and he tries to like throw the dish into the dishwasher for
yeah,
some
I was
reason.
gonna say they are literally putting like extremely clean dishes into the dishwasher. Like I understand pre-washing before you go load the dishwasher, but these dishes look like they had just come out of the dishwasher.
Well,
And
let's be clear also this was 1999. Dishwashers back then not so great. So, I don't
yes,
know.
and also they were loading like 20 dishes. And I was like, "You're a family of 4. Why do you have
5 courses, obviously.
like there's so many dishes?" But yeah, and yeah, he's acting the father is acting like a 5-year-old kid. Like he is you know, race me to the couch and like, just those stupid little things where he's acting so young. Um yeah, I didn't like the dad in this movie at all.
Wow, surprising.
The mom was
You
fine. The mom was
you
good.
don't like an alpha hole? Surprising.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it shouldn't come as a shock, but so yeah. So they're in their room, and then yeah, the T-ball thing. What were you
Yeah,
gonna say
so
about that?
no, just like there was a whole like situation or conversation about how Emma is so unsporty that she even like stroke out at T-ball on T-ball or whatever, like the only kid in the history of Evansville, which is I guess we're
Indiana.
supposed to believe it. Is it a real place? I did not
Yeah,
check
I
this.
think I think well, I didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure that Evansville, Indiana is a place.
Okay, we're going by 1999 rules, so I'm not going to Google that.
Yeah.
Anyway, then the next shot is the dad dropping them off at middle school, right? And one of them, I forgot who, says, "Drop us off a few blocks away next time." And the other one goes, "I guess when you get
That
older,
was
you have
Emma.
a higher tolerance for humiliation."
Yeah, that was Emma, who said that to her dad. Yeah.
I felt that in my bones. Like, yes, when you do get older, you have a higher tolerance for humiliation. That's true.
Yeah.
There are things that I have done in public that would humiliate my 13-year-old self so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
Like
yeah.
like going to Walmart at 2 a.m.
It's
fully in
more
PJs, you
I
know?
would say that it's just more like you're more comfortable with yourself and like more confident. I wouldn't say it's a higher tolerance for humiliation. It's just you care less about what people think.
Which is a higher tolerance for humiliation. Anyway, uh there we see Sam get a first glimpse of Greg.
Yes. Yes, and she is just a nervous little mess and doesn't know what
And
to
Greg
do with herself.
is looking elsewhere. Dun dun dun. He is
Yeah.
looking at Emma,
Yeah.
who is
Yeah.
like, surrounded by her like posse, like just showcasing how popular Emma is socially versus Sam is like great at sports.
Yeah, I mean Greg is probably looking and thinking like who the f is this girl? Like
Who I thought it was a look filled with longing, but that's just me.
I mean he ends up with Sam, spoiler alert, so
What? You're killing me.
Anyway,
You're killing me, Smalls. All right,
what
continue.
happens next? What happens next? Because the next one I have is
Well, there's
the
the Jerry sport like
right.
sporting goods store
Yes, so
scene.
they're in the sporting goods store and like Jerry is their dad is polishing his trophies of all of the youth boys soccer league championships that he's won in the past.
Which I
Um,
have a pressing question for this. Why is this man coaching boys soccer teams when he has no sons? Like, I don't understand a
because
grown
boys are
man's
better at everything. Duh.
I I just don't understand a grown man's investment in coaching a league that does not have any of his children in it. That's just my
He's
personal thing.
he's competitive and uh sexist. I don't know. Well, that's this was my note, because so the his like assistant manager or whatever tells like breaks the news that that unfortunately the league is going co-ed.
Gross.
Um and
I mean gross the sexism, not gross that they went co-ed.
yes,
Just wanted to make
so
sure.
I wrote down this quote. It says girls bring a whole other component into soccer, and I thought that this was going to be good. Like I was like, oh, they're going to say something good, right? Like like they bring like sophistication or whatever. Like I thought it was going to be like a compliment to girls. But no, they say the girls bring tears, fashion, and their moms. That is the components that the girls bring into soccer.
I don't see a problem with 2 out of 3 of those, to be fair. But,
What
like,
too?
I don't see a problem with them bringing the fashion and the moms, even though, like, whatever, it's sexist. But, like, yeah, tears, like, have you not been around boys? Like, they also cry. Anyway, that's not
Yeah.
neither here nor there.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
just any time that these two men are in a scene together, I was like, "Can you just shut the fuck up?"
which is
Like,
why we stan our king, Taylor, who was, you know, brought to life by our also king, Michael Cera,
this
because
doesn't happen until much later in the film. Why are we bringing him up right now?
he puts the assistant manager in his place. I don't like
That's
that
true.
guy.
That's true. He's just an annoying little kid. But yes, I see what you mean.
All right.
So they're at home, and the dad is telling the family, Sam, Emma, and the mom, that the league has gone co-ed. And the girls decide that they were like, oh yeah, that sounds fun, let's both do it. And there's a moment here where Jerry is like, you know yeah, Sam is like really great at soccer. And then he goes, oh, and yeah, and Emma, you're and he cannot think of one nice thing to say about Emma at all. And it didn't even have to be about soccer. It could have been about literally like, oh, you're smart. Oh, you're like, he didn't have one nice thing to say about Emma. I was like so disappointed in him in this moment.
Jerry, you're a piece of shit. I hope you know that.
I know. Ugh,
All
man.
right. Well, so the league has gone co-ed though, right?
Yes.
But the coaches sure haven't gone co-ed because the next scene we see
Yeah.
is all the fucking coaches at the draft. And guess what? Not one woman coach in that draft.
Nope. Yeah. Not one woman coach. No, that's for sure. And then this whole scene is a dumpster fire. But I do want to say, at one point, someone says in this, one of the coaches in this scene says, you know what they say about girls? They're the great equalizers. And I just got to say, what does that mean?
I have no idea. We would have to ask David Matt about that because I wouldn't know.
Yeah, okay. Is it like it's like, "Oh, well, all of our there's not gonna be one team that's better than the other because all of our teams will suck because they're gonna get pulled down by the girls?" Like, that's kind of like the way I took it, because I was like, "What do you mean? Like, how else would you take that?"
Yeah, that's I agree. I agree. But I have a question, and like this is a for real question. Do
Right.
you think that the coaches for the Bulls are an actual couple because they sure bicker like one?
They do. Like, that well, it's like one of those, like, gags where they literally, argue about every single thing. Like,
I I felt some sexual tension there, guys. I'm just leaving it
I
out
could
there.
see it. Hey, I could see it. That makes sense to me. I ship them.
Maybe it's more progressive than we thought. Who knows?
Yeah. Also, I wanted to call out the fact that there's one British coach and his team is called the Redcoats.
I have that in my notes as well. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me.
So yeah, the teams are there's the Hurricanes, which is what Jerry's team is called, the
Correct.
dad, and then
The
there's the
Bulls.
the Bulls, which is
Mhm.
the couple, the guys that we think
The
are in
yes,
love.
yes, the very in love couple that are coaching
Yes.
this team.
And then there's the Redcoats, which is the British guy. And then there's the Buzzards, which is like the loser team that Emma gets put on, or
But
that Sam gets
let's
put on.
okay, let's be clear. Willard
Willard, yes.
is an icon wrapped in a Hawaiian shirt. You cannot convince me otherwise. This man is an icon.
Even after that scene with their mom,
We will get there.
where
He is an icon.
okay.
He
Okay.
is an icon, and I will not hear Willard slander in this show.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, so what was the fourth one again? I can't remember what the fourth team was.
Oh, so we got their
Or the fifth.
Hurricanes.
Sorry, the fifth team. The fifth team.
Oh, I don't remember. I think they didn't really.
Did they ever
They're.
say it?
I think there are more than. I think there are more than 6 because in the playoffs brackets, there were like. I think there were 6 actually.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, but we only know of the Hurricanes, the Buzzards, the Bulls, and the Redcoats.
And the Redcoats. I think they started out with 6 when they did the movie, and then they're like, "Shit, we don't have the budget for extra uniforms,
Right.
so we're gonna
oh well.
figure this out later."
Right. So they're at the draft end. They do like this whole tryouts thing before they actually pick their players, and they're showing all the kids doing all the drills. And we see Emma. What?
I will say, let me stop you right there. I will say, Emma made more laps than I ever could. So kudos to her.
Oh yeah, she was great. I mean, yeah, she got tired as someone who has not been doing cardio every day for her 13-year-old life would get tired, but like I thought she was great.
Yeah, she's great.
But on top of being great, she's also very fashionable because she's wearing her black rimmed, like thin oval sunglasses.
Like blue lenses, by the way.
That have been like basically glued to her face this whole movie. She's been wearing them the entire movie. She does not like to take them off. And then she is wearing knee pads, wrist pads,
elbow pads.
Elbow pads, yeah. And she's
the only thing she's missing is the helmet that the kid has in the movie.
Yeah, the helmet kid or whatever. Yeah, and she goes, "Are you sure these wrist pads match these knee pads?" And Sam's just like, "Ugh, you don't have to wear all that shit.
Take it off."
Yeah, so yeah, we see Emma kind of struggling and Sam kicking ass. And then they have to do the draft.
We forgot one key part of this is that the mom seemed entirely too surprised at the process of drafting.
And
I'm like,
surprised?
how does? Yes, she's like, you didn't tell me there'd be a draft.
Right.
And I'm
right.
Like,
she was like,
how do you not, lady?
she's on high alert of anything that could possibly hurt Emma's feelings. She's like,
yeah, but
I have to make sure that I protect my child, which is awesome. I mean,
yeah, it's great. It's great. But okay, you've been married to this man for 15 years, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know that this comes with a draft? Okay, whatever.
She's never been emotionally invested before because she doesn't have a son, like you said. So, like,
also which makes it extra creepy. Although he is a sporting goods owner. Okay, I'm talking myself into the creepiness of it.
He's the sponsor. He sponsors.
But he could have sponsored. He could have sponsored and let like another dad.
Yeah, no,
coach.
He sponsors the Hurricanes, but then he also coaches them. Yeah, so he's just multi-invested, money, financially invested, and emotionally invested.
It's a tax write-off. Anyway, continue.
Right. Yeah. So we see Richie for the first time because Sam and Emma are kicking balls back and forth during this like tryouts thing, and Emma kicks it too far and kicks it over to Richie, who is this bully character that I hate.
Yes. Agreed.
For like a little kid, as much as I can hate a little, like a 13-year-old boy, like
they were trying to go for the archetype of the quote bad boy with the like soft heart, whatever, did not work out.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
he's no Roy Kent. I'll give you that.
Oh my
Um,
god.
he's
What
no
a
Roy Kent.
diss. What a diss.
Yeah. Anyway, we see him in this scene, and his pants. Did you see his pants in this scene?
No, I don't remember. Talk to me about this.
First of all, he is wearing. Everybody else is wearing like full on soccer uniforms, like sweat shorts,
Uh-huh.
high knee socks, whatever. He's wearing baggy jean shorts and a striped crew neck t-shirt. And the shorts, like, they are so big and so baggy that they're basically just really wide pants.
It was fashion, first of all. And second, do you think that it was his sister's pants? I don't know. I don't know
Maybe,
what
yeah, they
goes
talked
on in
about,
his family
yeah,
life.
right, yeah, they talk about how his sister beat him up on the playground one time and he's never been the same.
Correct. That is his
Like,
tragic, like his tragic backstory is he got beat up by his sister in the playground.
yeah, yeah, get over it, dude. Like, good for her. Yeah, he's an asshole the whole movie. So, yeah, we see him, and then of course, like, and later they try to make him. I just like I don't like what they do with Emma and her like love story at the end, but we'll get to that later, I guess.
I mean, say less. Say, I don't know. Okay, continue.
Okay, so then we get to the actual draft itself, and Jerry gets to go first, and he
It's a real
much
Sophie's choice.
yeah, much to his chagrin, he does not. He wants to pick Sam because he knows that she's the best. I'm surprised he doesn't want to just pick a guy first, to be honest. Because like I kind of forget in the scene, like, oh yeah, you guys are. It's a co-ed team. Like these are still guys. He could just pick a guy. He doesn't have to pick either of his daughters first. But I guess that would be hurtful. But it
Well,
would
and
be less hurtful for him to pick a guy over Emma than to pick Sam over Emma. You know what I mean?
but he wants Sam because he knows that he can coach her 24/7.
Yeah, and that she's just like the best female player. So yeah, because he gets, he's going to be put in the doghouse by his wife if he doesn't. He picks Emma first. But here, this is what I have a problem with. So the rest of the coaches are doing their draft and they're going through, and every single time before they pick, he tries to get them to not pick Sam. But the way that he does this is
It's super underhanded.
he
Yes.
publicly humiliates his daughter in front of everybody. Like, oh,
The art classes. The art classes.
Yeah, don't you have to go take your art class? She's like, I was like 5 and I was finger painting and like multiple things. It's like, dude,
Oh,
this
the
is your
trick knee.
daughter.
The trick knee. What trick knee? Like, what are you talking about? Oh, the pain is so unbearable. Sometimes she forgets she even has it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, you realize that you are like humiliating your daughter in this process, but whatever. And so
Well, I'm sorry. I will say, good thing her mom's a therapist because she can unpack that later.
true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, usually I feel like when in media, when you see like a therapist parent, it's bad. It's a bad thing because they always try to
Yeah.
over therapize you or whatever.
But she doesn't. Denise does
No,
it.
no, I think their mom is really actually quite good in this movie.
I
I will
really
give her
liked
that.
her.
Yes. So anyway, all the coaches go through and um, none of them pick Sam. And Jerry's so excited. He's like, great, I'm going to get Sam as my second pick and I'll have both my girls on my team. And they're like, okay, Jerry, you're up next. And he goes to do it. And Willard, the Buzzards coach, comes in. He's like, sorry, I was late. Can I go?
Again, an icon wrapped in a Hawaiian shirt. Look at
Yeah.
him go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
And then he goes like, what about Sam? Just like
yeah.
very nonchalant.
Yeah, and then Jerry is just like devastated.
Defeated. And then cut scene, next scene, I believe, right? Like that's kind of where this movie was made for TV,
right.
and it has like the stereotypical like ad break cutscenes, and you can tell where they are. And then there's like, this is an ad break for sure.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
And then where are we next? What happens next?
Okay, the girls are talking about the team and Greg. So Sam talks about how hot Greg is, which is a phrase that make me so uncomfortable as a fucking grown adult watching this and seeing two 13, 12-year-olds talking about
They're 13.
guy hotness.
Dude, I definitely found guys hot at 13. Are you
Oh, I
telling me you didn't
know.
find guys hot at 13?
Oh, I was completely boy crazy. It just, as an adult, makes me uncomfortable still.
Oh, no,
As
it
a
doesn't make me uncomfortable at all.
as a 37, as a mother of daughters, it makes me uncomfortable. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, I wrote down this iconic line that she says, because Emma's like, he's just a guy, go talk to him. Oh, right, because so they're in the lunchroom, right? They're like they're at the like lunch table buffet getting their
Not.
lunch.
Oh, yes. And then there. Wait. Is this the scene?
Yes, yeah, because
Ah,
yes, it is.
shit. I'm so sorry, guys. I am a little.
No, they're talking about him.
Okay.
They're just in the lunch line. So they're in the lunch line talking about him. And this iconic line where Emma goes, he's just a guy. And Sam goes, guy to you, God to me. And I was like, okay, I want that on my gravestone or something. I love that.
Also, we learned that blue is not really Emma's color. Like, she's like, this jersey is blue. You know, when
Oh,
now we're at the oh, I'm so
wait.
sorry. I made up. Okay, let's backtrack. That's later. Continue.
Yeah, so I have they're in the lunch line after she says that iconic line. And when they go up to so Emma's like, we have to go introduce ourselves to him. He's right there. Like, let's go talk to him. I'll go with you. And they're like this entire scene when they're talking about him, they have like their trays and they're filling them up with food, and they get to the end of the lunch line. And this is normally where you would pick your trays up and go put them down at a table. But they both just walk away from their trays and leave them on the lunch line table to go talk to him. I was like, wait, what about your food?
You know,
whole scene
Helene,
was you grabbing your food and then you just left it there.
Helene, the hormones, they took over, you know?
I guess. I was like, wait, guys, somebody else is going to take your food.
A teenage girl's body is just a piece of flesh piloted by pure hormones.
Right.
It has no rhyme, no reason, just hormones.
Yeah, they're like, fuck food. I need to go talk to Greg. But anyway, they go over to go talk to him, and Emma goes and introduces herself, and thinking Sam is right behind her, goes to like let her introduce herself, and Sam has left, and just runs away like a scared little baby.
I mean, understandably so. It's a god for her, you know, not a boy.
Yeah, she's not ready to talk to God yet. Um,
All right. Next scene, they are each in their respective, I believe, practices where Emma receives the Hurricanes blue jersey, and
Yes.
Emma is iconic and says, "Are you sure we have to do blue? Like, blue's not really my color." And I was like, "Yes,
Yeah.
I get you, girl."
But like at the same time, they look great in blue. I don't know what she's talking about. The blue is beautiful on her.
Of course, but it's part of like the girls. They bring fashion into this.
Yeah, and then but Sam gets to wear a green jersey with the buzzards. So
Yes, but then Sam's like quip about the buzzards is also iconic because she says, "This is the competitive boys league I was waiting for."
Yes. Also, when they're talking about, they're showing her the jersey. They're showing Sam the buzzards jersey, and they're like, "Oh yeah, our sponsor is a funeral home."
Yes.
And the nerdy, Oscar, the one with the headgear, is talking about how the funeral home allows him and his friends to use their building for bio experiments.
Yeah, so
And
gross.
I'm like, do I even want to know what goes on?
Like, you know what? Let's just like let it slide on through because that is not a conversation I want to have right now or ever.
Right. But then we get to see their practices,
And the dad is such a sports bro. I really can't relate.
No, but okay, I will say this part Willard did win me over with
With
the
pizza?
old pizza reward motivational tactic. Like, okay, you go through this obstacle course thing and you get a slice of pizza. And I'm like, hell yeah, that's how you motivate children. You're
That's how
speaking
you
my
motivate
language.
that's how you motivate me to do
Yeah.
anything. Like,
Yeah, you can
is
motivate
there
me
gonna
with
be
pizza.
pizza? I'll be there.
Yeah. Yes. And I don't know if we skipped. Sorry, did you have any more about this scene?
Oh, there's an extra one that I want to talk about. The conga line at the end for
Oh
Willard's
yeah.
practice.
Oh
Also,
yeah.
what an icon, a hero. I
Yeah, he
love
was like,
Willard.
oh, he's like, okay, time to do laps, and then their version of laps is just doing a conga line in a circle, which was cute. Um, and I don't know if we skipped this scene, but I have a little note hidden in here that I can't remember where it fits in about the grown men crying over a kid's soccer team. So Jerry and his assistant manager are like sitting in the store, and um his assistant manager is crying because they got stuck with Emma
Am I
instead of
not
Sam.
Sam? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's literally sobbing. And like the dad is like, to be fair, the dad's not crying. He's like, I'll just have to be a better coach. Like, it's
Yeah.
fine. But I'm like, you are a grown man and you are crying over a girl on a kid's soccer team.
I'm telling you,
Like,
these men are monsters. These men are monsters.
yeah, that assistant manager guy, probably one of the worst people in this film. Like along with Richie and that assistant manager. I don't even know his name. The assistant manager, like they both can go
Let's be
away.
real. I did not even write down the assistant manager's name. That's how much I like
Yeah,
him.
yeah, me neither. I didn't even care to learn it.
Okay.
So
So
now
okay, so
now
then
we're at
we've
the
got
arcade, right? We're at the arcade.
so we've got the girls, right? The girlies are talking to each other.
They're at the
Um
arcade. They're playing pinball at the arcade.
mhm, and
Yeah.
they concoct a plan.
Okay, so I was watching this scene and I'd written down, I was like, have these girls literally never swapped places before? And then I had to go and delete that note because they talk about how they've swapped places once in the second grade. And I'm like,
Mhm.
if I had a twin, an identical twin, I feel like I'd swap places with them.
Well, yeah, I can't speak to that cuz I don't have an identical twin, so I don't know what would happen. Um maybe I don't know. If
Yeah.
I had identical twins, I would probably have a little like a tiny tattoo on their arms or something to
Oh,
tell them
like I
apart.
mean, these two parents seem to be able to tell them apart immediately with
Yeah,
no hesitation,
of
which is
course,
awesome.
yeah.
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 Um, but yeah, so yeah, there's and I respect the plot having to go around how there's no fucking way they're going to be able to trick their parents, so they kind of have to go around that. But they
Yeah.
can trick everyone else. But yeah, the way that they decide to come up with this plan is really cute. Like they're playing pinball and they're talking about, oh, I just wish I was on your team, like on the other team. And then I was like, I wish I was on that team, your team. Um, and then they're playing pinball, and they're the one playing is like, okay, switch places, and they switch places to have the other one to start playing pinball, and then they look at each other like, wait, we could swap places.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was really cute. I was like, that was a good like realization moment. I liked
You know
that.
what I really liked also? I mean, you're probably gonna hate it, but like the fact that they were like, no, we have to tell mom and get her buy-in first because she can tell us apart and she won't go along with this if we don't have her buy-in. This was before
Yeah,
they knew that she couldn't make it to any of their games.
which plot hole because
Plot
that
hole,
gets
because then
completely thrown out at the end of this
correct.
movie.
Correct. Maybe she canceled like her like
Yeah, but
thing.
they
She
could
was
just
like, say it. I
yeah,
don't know. Whatever.
but like put a line in the movie. But yeah, so yeah.
Yes.
But isn't the next scene the Michael Cera scene, or is because they
Yes.
don't?
Yes.
Okay, I
So
was gonna
so the
say
whole
now we
thing
get
the
to
whole thing is that the mom can't go to the games and she apologizes because she has like a
Mhm.
family's like whatever group therapy session or whatever. And then it cuts to Michael Cera as Taylor being
Yeah,
f- uh being fitted by the assistant of the store for
yeah.
shoes and being a complete little shit, and I love it.
Yeah, the assistant manager that we all hate.
Yes.
Yeah, so he gets his comeuppance with the mini Michael Cera, which is cute.
And that's
Um,
when the twins decide that they're going to put their plan into effect with their father,
yeah, so
Jerry.
they get their dad to agree to let them switch places and not tell their mom. And I was like I was like before this scene, I was like, how the hell are they gonna trick their dad? So I was glad that they like got their dad in on it. But I also was very confused because I thought the whole point of Emma wanting to do this whole soccer thing in the first place was to earn her dad's respect as an athlete.
Well, I think that that's like more the mom's plan. Emma, to me, seemed very like reluctant at first, of like, are you sure you want me to do this? Okay, I guess if you
Well,
really want me
no,
to.
she's always like, "Oh, dad always picks Sam first. I wish that dad would pick me. Like I wish dad would thought that I was good at sports." And so I was like, "Oh, great." Like when I realized what the plot of the movie was before this scene, I was like, "Oh, so they're going to switch places and Sam is going to be Emma and she's going to make Emma look really good for their dad and make him think that Emma got really good at sports."
No, 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 no.
And then
I think that yes, Emma wants their dad to look at her differently, but the soccer ploy thing was more their mom's idea than Emma's idea. I think she just wants him to look at her differently. It just doesn't matter how in which sport, really.
right. Oh, I don't even know if we made this clear, but the girls want to switch places because Sam doesn't feel like she's being
Challenged enough.
challenged. Yeah, she's
Mhm.
like all these people suck and I feel like I'm not really getting to like play soccer. I'm just kind of like on a
Well,
field with a bunch of
that's
happy people.
that's when she
Um
says, "This is the competitive boys league I was waiting for," you
yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Emma is like not really loving being coached by her dad because he's too like intense and like it's hard and she wants to just have fun. Um so I get that she like wants to have a good time and that's like why she wants to be on the Buzzards and not the Hurricanes team. But I definitely was confused for a second because I was like, I totally read this whole like conflict at the beginning of the movie as Emma wanting her dad to like think that she's good at sports. And like letting him in on the thing on the switch is like gonna totally negate that. Like so I was like, what is the point of this? But
I don't
whatever.
think Emma cares as much right now at the moment because she's like, "He's so intense, I
Yeah.
can't handle it."
Yeah, she cared before, but probably not as much anymore. Yeah.
Okay, it's kinda like, "Be careful what you wish for, you just might get it," kinda scenario.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so then we have a game with the Hurricanes, against the Redcoats, I believe, and then a game with the Buzzards. Um,
Yeah.
kind of intertwined, like interspersed with each other, but this is their first game after the switch.
Yeah, and then is this where the girls see that like weird the like actual soccer star on the
Not
field?
yet, not yet. I have
Okay.
other so, um, Emma, as Sam, scores an accidental goal into
Right.
the
Right.
at the game,
Yep, yep, yep.
and then they see this, like, soccer star man who I did not Google or check into, um, do a
Oh, his
cameo.
name is what is it? Alexis or Alexi Lawless, I think.
Yes. Okay. So then they say that he's pretty cute or whatever. And I'm like, 12-year-old girls or 13-year-old girls would not say a grown man with a beard is cute.
I
Let's not be dumb
literally
here.
I wrote the
Oh,
exact same
oh my God.
I wrote the wrong. Oh wait, I wrote okay. I do not buy that these 13-year-old girls think that this grown ass man with a full on Santa beard is quote unquote cute. That is my exact note.
Great minds think alike because I was like, that is the most unbelievable part of this entire fucking movie
Yeah,
that
like I
hinges
under.
that hinges upon identical twins switching teams and fooling everyone. Like, literally the most unrealistic part of this movie.
Yeah, like, I understand, like, they wanted to get, like, a real soccer player in, and they have, like, the
so it's
guys
because
talking about it later. They have the 2 coaches that we think are in love. They're, like, arguing about him. That's the guy they're arguing about later.
I'm sorry. We think are in love, are definitely in love. There was so much sexual tension in here.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. So
come on.
they're fighting over, and they talk about him. So, like, I understand they want it. Like, maybe this guy even sponsored the movie. I don't know, but this guy, like,
ooh, maybe he was their hall pass. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's what they're arguing about. Who's gonna get to sleep with them, like, as their hall pass?
the grown men, yes, not the girls.
Yes, no,
yeah,
not the girls.
because, like,
no.
they're having I bet Mary-Kate and like, it seems so forced. I'm like, Mary-Kate and Ashley do not want to deliver this line. This is not what they actually think. This guy is not, to a grown ass woman. This guy is not cute, but to 2 13-year-old girls,
I was gonna say
definitely not cute.
I was gonna say he had a nice body. Like, yeah, like he's long, lanky, lean, whatever. He has a nice
really
body.
Bad hair. He had really bad.
But
hair.
like, I'm getting to it. But like, the hair situation and everything else is like not for me personally. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, but it's just not for me. And highly unbelievable that 13-year-old girls would think this is cute, because a 37-year-old is sitting here thinking, not so cute, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. Agreed.
All right.
Yes. So then we're in the mom's office, and she's talking about how she has to, like, go to the library later.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. There's something else. Okay, I missed it. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Maybe I skipped that. Okay. So as Sam, as Emma, right, is leaving her game, Greg is following behind and calling Emma's name, and she's not turning around because, duh, she's Sam.
Yes.
And he goes, hey, are you wearing an invisible Walkman or something? And I just laughed.
Yeah, I
just lost it.
That was a good one. Yeah.
And he asks Sam, ask Emma out on a date.
Yes, he thinks he's asking Emma out.
Yes.
But it's Sam. Then
Emma has to tutor Sam on what to do on a date.
Well, no, not yet. So that's
sorry.
The mom stuff happens before that.
Okay, so, then go ahead.
So we're in the mom's office. She's, like, on the phone talking about how she has to go to the library later, which sets up something later.
Mm-hmm.
But then she has to hang up the phone because she gets a fax, and I'm just like, oh my god, a fax.
I mean, iconic.
I know. I'm like, oh, faxes. You remember when people would literally, like, send paper to people?
And that paper,
yeah.
was a roll that you put in your, like, little device.
Yeah, you send paper through the internet. It's like texting a piece of paper. Anyway,
did you have a fax at home?
We did. Yeah,
we did too, because my dad had his, like, own business or whatever. So, like,
yeah,
we had faxes incoming. I'll just say
I can see it very clearly in my mind. It like, I see the fax and I see exactly where it sat on the counter, and I can, like, see the buttons and everything. Like,
and that paper, like that photo sensitive paper that you know you couldn't leave it out in the sun because it would, like, there's, like, it would, like, everything would black out or whatever. Yeah.
Also, like, I don't remember if like, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that the fax line, like, can you be on the phone and get a fax at the same time?
I don't think so. It depends. You can only get a fax while you're on the phone if you have 2 different lines.
Yeah, she must have a separate line because she's on the phone with someone, and then she's like, "Oh, I have
usually,
to go. I'm getting
you know what
fax.
though? Let me retrace my steps. Okay. 1 second. Fax lines are usually a different number. Were always a different number than your main phone. So they're separate entities.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, she gets the fax, and the fax is the, like, current standing of the soccer league, and it shows that the
Hurricanes are in first place.
That the Hurricanes are in first place. They've won 4-0. They've won 4 games in a row. And Emma's that's Emma's team, and she immediately is like, "Oh my god, something must be wrong. Like, there's no way that Emma's team is doing well because Emma sucks.
No, but didn't she say, like, I know what's happening. And he's like, okay, I can explain. And he's just like, you've really been a great coach
Yeah.
to Emma.
Yeah, it's just like I think it's kind of like a visual, like they're trying to make you think like, oh my god, Emma is in trouble, like she's found them out. But yeah, then they switch it at the very last minute. But that's
Yeah.
definitely what I saw, was like, you just assume that since Emma's team is doing well, that there's something going on here. Uh, but no,
All right.
she's a good mom. She's a good mom.
So then we got Emma tutoring Sam on what to do on a date and how to walk, which
Yes.
is always
Yes.
hilarious.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then Greg shows up to pick
Yeah.
Emma / Sam up.
Yes, and then when she leaves and her mom is like, bye Sam, and like Sam's supposed to be Emma. Sam is like dressed like pretending to be Emma, and she's like, bye Sam, and she closes the door, and then she was like, wait, Sam went on that date? I thought it was supposed to be Emma. And she just shrugs it off. She's like, oh,
No, she said bye Emma, and then she closes the door and she goes, Sam? And then she goes, kind of like,
right, yeah, no, like she like realizes it's Sam after the fact, right? Yeah, but the fact that she just shrugs it off, she's like, oh, okay, well, whatever. Like she doesn't investigate, why is my girl pretending to be the other one? Like she doesn't care at all.
Well, she's probably in the middle of her workday, Helene, so maybe she has other things to attend to.
I feel like this is important as a mother, though.
As a busy mother with a full-time job, I kind of get it. Okay.
Sure. Okay, I'll take your word on that one.
All right. So my note on Greg, right? I'm sorry.
Right.
Greg, stop surprising your dates at home. Come on. And Greg, oh my God, SATs are not small talk.
Especially when you're 13 years old. I was like, there's no way that they're talking about this right now. Like,
well,
you're in middle school.
Maybe Greg has super a-hole parents. I don't know. But
yeah, I'm like, how about you guys talk about the PSATs? Like that you're gonna have to worry about way sooner than the SATs. Like,
I mean, but if you worry about the SATs first, then you got the PSAT cover, you know?
I guess. Yeah. So yeah, Greg is not killing this entire time. He doesn't really kill the date game, because they go to the arcade and he gets kind of a little butthurt that she beats him at everything.
But you know what? I have to say it for my girl Sam. She does not let up after that first time. She just kept going.
No, she's like, I'm not holding myself back. And yeah, if you hurt a little boy's ego in the process, like that is like their problem, not yours, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
so then, I mean, they end the date. Sam is like, shit, it went horrible. He's never going to ask me out again. Like,
yeah.
and you know, we've kind of been all been there.
Yeah. But now we're going to see the jig is up, because
guess what? The mom finally makes it to the library. And we forgot to mention that the way they concoct around this is, while one of them is at practice, the other one will be in the quote library studying.
Yeah, so the mom won't like see that one is at home when they're supposed to be at practice or whatever. So this is what I was talking about, where the mom was like setting up that she has to go to the library later. But then my question is, okay, either the mom went to the school library, or Emma is at the public library. But
Emma's at the public library is what I thought.
But I don't think so, because if you look, all the background actors are like very young children.
Well, perhaps because the mom works from home, right? Perhaps she's at the library at a time where most patrons are kids because they just got out of school and everyone else is still at work.
I guess, yeah. I was like, wait, did the mom go to the middle school library to
No. I think it's
stuff?
It's the public library. Or maybe Evanston just has like the one tiny library that is also adjacent to the middle school. I don't know.
It's Evansville. Evanston is in Illinois. And Evansville
I'm so
is in
sorry.
Indiana.
I am so sorry that I get these Midwestern towns mixed up.
Yes. So the mom is like, Emma, I thought that you were supposed to be at practice. What are you doing at the library?
And she's like, oh my God, I forgot.
I forgot. I got so like into my studying. I have to go. And she's like, oh, I'll drive you. She's like, no, I want to go by myself. She's like, no, I'll just drive you. And so she drives Emma to the dad's team's practice because that's the team that Emma is supposed to
Oh,
be
and
on.
Emma says like, Dad, you got some explaining to do. Like,
Yeah, and obviously the mom sees Sam playing as Emma at the dad's game, and she even catches him calling Sam Emma
oh,
on the
and
field.
and he says something about give them no mercy or whatever, and she says the most iconic line of this movie. Speaking of mercy, don't expect any from me. Yes,
Yeah,
girl. Yes, queen. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Next
That
scene.
was
Next scene.
iconic.
That was another ad break. Next scene. A cutting scene. She is cutting vegetables very rapidly on a
Oh
cutting
my
board.
god, I thought that she was gonna chop off her hand. She was like it was like she was like chopping celery, and I was like, "Girl, chill, because there's an injury coming."
It's a children's soccer league. Calm down.
Yeah,
um, during this interaction, maybe it's just me, but like the nagging wife slash cool guy stereotype was like all over the scene.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I was obviously on the mom side this whole time.
Oh, like, come on, we stand.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, "I don't how could you, like, let your daughters be interchangeable? Like, you would let your daughters switch places just to win a trophy? Like, what kind of shit dad are you? Like, for real, though." Agreed, mom.
So the dad has to come clean to the league, and as a punishment, he has to forfeit all of his wins.
Yeah, so he's at 0-0, and if you looked at the, like, he's
Scoreboard.
yeah, the scoreboard, a lot of the other teams are, like, 2-2 or,
Yeah, yeah.
so he's starting off, like, he's not, like, super bad off, but he's a little, like, not
Behind.
yeah, um, which he doesn't handle it well with the other coaches, which, I mean, whatever.
Male fragility.
Yeah, and Willard doesn't give one shit. He is
Oh,
asleep.
again, an icon, a legend, wrapped in a Hawaiian shirt, just
Yeah.
unbothered.
He's
Like,
snoring in the back row.
I mean, to care as much about this shit as Willard does, that's what I want in my life.
Yeah,
He's like, I just want to teach the kids how to play soccer and have fun. That's all I want.
it's really just have fun. He doesn't really care about the whole soccer part of it at
Oh,
all.
yeah, but
Um,
he's fronting there.
yes. And then is the poker game next? Because that's my next
Yes,
note.
poker.
Okay.
Yes, that is
So
the poker game.
I'm watching this poker game scene, and I'm waiting for something of
Note.
value to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Again,
And then the
nothing.
scene ends. The poker game is just the dad, all the coaches, including their dad, and the coaches are like, "Oh, we can't really blame you. We get it. Sam's the better player. Oh, but all you did was lie to everybody that you care about." And then they're like, "Wait, we're mad at you. Like, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Winning isn't everything. Just kidding. I just won this hand. Ha ha ha. I love winning still." And it's just the dumbest scene in the whole movie. I'm like, why? This was a whole waste of time. Can we cut this scene? Like, I don't care.
Honestly, it could do without that scene, to be real.
Yeah, it was a
Yes.
really bad scene.
Okay. So the girls are back in their original teams. The
Yes.
mom becomes a assistant coach
To
for the
Willard's team.
Buzzards.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Buzzards.
And then
And this is where I
Willard
wrote this is where I wrote
Willard
the note. Wait, no, this is where I wrote the note. Their mom has to miss all of their games for work, but has the time to coach one of the teams.
I am telling you, I think she canceled those therapy sessions. They should have maybe they kept that poker scene in when they shouldn't have, and they should have like kept the scene in where she's like, "Well, that's it. I'm canceling all my weekend sessions."
Yeah, like because okay, so in the scene where she's angrily chopping celery or whatever, he makes a comment about how like I understand that you don't like that you're not like you don't know much about this coaching thing, but
Oh,
and blah
gross.
blah blah, and then like
Gross.
mansplains coaching to her, right? And then she
Yeah.
ends the scene with her leaving like who are you to say I don't know anything about coaching, and then leaves. And then I love that they pay that off and it wasn't just like a shut up asshole line, and it was like, I'm going to show you that I know a thing or two about coaching. I'm going to coach your rival team, and I'm going to win the whole damn thing. And I'm like, yes, mom. Yes.
All right. So then Willard, this is the one time I'm like, Willard, come on, let's not do this. Um, uses the proximity to Denise, the psychotherapist,
The
or
mom.
the
Yep.
therapist, the mom, to get some free therapy himself.
I mean, I understand the temptation, but this scene was really cringy. It was a really
Okay.
bad scene.
Okay. But I will say that he is very relatable because he has an overwhelming craving for cheese. And who amongst us does not have a overwhelming craving for cheese once in a while? We love a relatable
Sure.
king.
Sure, I guess. I thought it was just a really cringy scene, and he's talking about his dream, which, by the way, another Titanic reference. I wonder if we're gonna get one in every single Mary Kate and Ashley movie, because
Maybe.
there was one in Passport to Paris too. So I'm keeping my eye out for Titanic references in
Okay,
this film.
so like ding Titanic reference.
Yes. So he's like telling his dream, and he's like, it's England in the 1920s, and I'm getting on a boat, like a large boat that's going from England to the America, and the mom is like, so like Titanic, and he's like, no, nothing like Titanic, and then he goes to tell the entire plot of Titanic in his dream, except that he is Jack and his mom is Rose.
And he is 3 years old.
Oh right, yes, but still, it's a weird ass dream. It's a weird ass dream.
Anyway, next scene, we're back at the lunch room or outside the lunchroom, right?
Yeah.
And the girls are like, like Emma's like, you gotta tell Greg, Sam, like I can't keep this up for much
Right.
longer.
Yeah.
And
And
Sam
it's
is
like at this point, like Greg is literally the only person who doesn't know. Like all the teams know, all the coaches know, like all the kids on the teams. And so it's like these kids go to school. Like, don't you think he would have gotten around school?
maybe okay. Let me backtrack this because as the new kid in many a school, I was not privy to all the hot goss all the time.
Is he new?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I don't
I
remember that.
think like maybe he's been like a little bit sheltered from the hot goss of it all.
He's sitting alone at lunch. I noticed that when they
Yes.
go talk to him. I'm
Yes.
like, oh, he has no friends. Kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's new, right? And through a series of happenstances, because first Sam goes in, then comes out as like, it went great. I didn't tell him though, basically, right? Like it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Emma has to go in, totally different outfit. Greg does not clock, but
Well, yeah,
whatever. He's
no,
a boy.
yeah, I noted that because all they did was switch jackets. They were wearing the same pants, so but like they had vastly different shirts on,
Also,
and so.
also
But wait,
Ashley
I'm
was
not. Wait,
wearing
wait, wait, wait.
like a jean jacket on top of a cardigan. Too much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not until they swapped.
Yeah,
The
of
person who
course.
came
Yeah.
to so Emma or Sam came to school with just a tank top and a jean jacket. So Sam gives her jean jacket to Emma, and I was like, before she goes in, I'm like, this is he's gonna tell that like Sam was wearing like an olive green shirt and Emma's wearing like a purple shirt. There's no way he's gonna not notice that. But I did notice in the scene they had the jacket like buttoned up literally to the top button, so you actually could not see the shirt underneath it.
Well, and that's the scene where we find out that Greg and Sam have way more in common than he and Emma, which is like a really cute thing. But then there's a clash in the hallway, and Emma runs out, and they find Sam picking up cutlery,
Yeah, so this is when
and
the jig is up for them
the
with
jig is up
Greg. But I
with
do have to
Greg.
say, I love how and I know that these are different characters and blah, blah, blah. But like, I love how in the last movie, they were so intense about making sure that their guys could tell them apart.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
in this
mm-hmm.
movie, Sam is totally cool with Greg literally not having any idea that they switched spots at that table. Like he completely thinks he's talking to Emma the entire time. And I'm
Yeah,
like, you do not care one bit that Greg has like he cannot tell you and your sister apart at all. Not a bit.
I don't know. Like it was different characters, different movies, you know?
It is, yeah, it is. I just thought it was funny. It was like a weird contrast.
Okay, so Mom is still the coach of the Buzzards,
Oh
and
my god, this. scene.
Oh my god, I can't.
So, do you want me to talk?
Go ahead.
Do you want? Okay, so she is sitting on the sidelines of the practice with the helmet kid, the kid that wears the he wears a
Helmet Head, aka Helmet Head. I think his name is
yes.
his legal name, I believe, is Robert.
Yeah, one of them was Robert. I can't remember, but he's wearing a football helmet. Not even like just like an actual football helmet. He wears it all the time, and she's sitting on the sidelines during practice with this kid, and she's kind of like therapizing him because she's
Yeah,
a shrink. Um and
she
it
would
is
not like that you said that though. Shrink. You
okay.
remember? Like she told Jerry, "It's like we don't call ourselves that."
Right. Yeah, that's true. I first of all, I want to say this entire conversation, when you look at it, like it, it, it looks like the mom is hitting on this little kid.
Oh no,
It
gross.
it really does. I'm sorry. Like it is really uncomfortable, and I can see why the kid kind of acts into it. He's like, "Leave me alone, weird lady." But there is one really good line. And she's talking to him, and she asks if his siblings ever tease him about the helmet,
And he
and
says he
he's
doesn't
like,
have any siblings. And then
"Yeah."
later
He's like,
on,
I don't have any siblings." And then she's like, "Does anyone else ever tease you about it?" And he goes, "Just my brother Ken."
yeah, that's just
I
beautiful.
was, it was like so perfectly delivered. I
Yeah,
was like, "Who do you think do you not know what the word siblings means?" It's
that
so
is literally
funny.
the joke. Yeah, that is literally the joke.
It's so funny. I loved it.
Another scene I want to talk about with Denise is when she like stops the game or practice, I don't remember which,
Yeah.
to tell them about visualizing winning and like soaring like eagles, and there's like, wait, buzzards, like did buzzards soar, like it's like a whole thing. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I was just like, are they just learning how to manifest in this scene? Like is this like the seeds of manifestation for the later generation?
Yeah, I mean, they had to show like her approach is all mental and like motivational, it's yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no,
very
I got it. But I was like, oh, this sounds a lot like manifestation. This is so weird. Um, then Oscar and his headgear, I feel sorry for him.
yeah.
And then I have my next, I don't know what scene this is. I'm just going by my notes. You tell me if you have another scene before this. Richie is being a real piece of shit towards Emma because she's back on the
Yes,
team again.
I have a note that he delivers every single one of his insults in the most unconvincing monotone like manner.
Yeah, well,
He he's just like, "You suck, Emma, blah blah blah," and I'm like, I don't. This is so badly acted. I'm sorry, little kid. Like this is so bad.
and then we have in the parents, not the children, a family at war. And I have this like in all caps, a family divided, because they're like
Yeah,
getting stuff out of their like SUV or like minivan, and like the mom
yeah.
is barely talking to the dad, like
Yeah, I
whatever.
feel like we have a little, isn't this like, it's kind of like a montage of a bunch of different games, right?
Yeah.
And there's one point, so the dad is, it's a Hurricanes game, and the dad is talking to now Emma because they've had to switch back because the jig was up. Um and he, first of all, he decides to like, he thinks that literally the middle of the game is a good time to just completely change up the play. Like he's like, "We're gonna do this play that that we've all practiced and that you guys all know, except that I'm gonna change the entire play completely, and you have no time to learn or practice this new play." And it's the play with like the screen, like he's
Yes.
having Emma be a screen, which if you're not a sports connoisseur like Adri and I are now, um a screen is just basically like a distraction. He's deciding to have Emma.
Like blocking basically.
Yeah, but I feel like because they don't call it blocking, they call it a screen. And the way that they show it is like, it's not her just like physically trying to block, it's her like distracting
Flirting.
them with her feminine wiles.
Oh, look
Um
at you.
she like, I'm like, you're using your child's feminine wiles to distract players on the other team so that you can score a goal. That is
Well,
what you were doing.
to be fair, I don't think the dad was like, go and flirt with them. Just like, hey, just go out there and make sure they don't like notice. It's just like, well, I'm really good at talking to people, basically, right? Like, so I'll just go do that.
I guess it's just the movie definitely shows it as like, I'm a pretty girl. Look at me.
Well, yeah, but I don't think, to be fair, I hate the dad. I want this to be known. I fucking hate Jerry. Jerry, you suck. But I don't think he like. I just think he was like, yeah, just do a screen, like just distract them. Like he didn't say like, you know, hey, just wink at them and like be seductive. Or I don't think that. No,
But that's where the movie went, which sucks.
yeah, which sucks. And then Denise becomes head coach of the Buzzards
She does,
and
yes.
tries to give a speech at the coaches meeting that the coaches are not feeling. And to be fair to them, I
Yeah,
kind of wasn't feeling it either.
yeah, but they just completely cut her off. Like, let her just
Yeah.
say her shit and let her have words.
Well, I felt like there were, if it had been like, if they had like a jukebox or anything, they would have started playing a song like they do at the Academy Awards to just like get her
Yeah,
off the floor.
right. Yeah. And then I don't know, did we skip the part where Sam realizes that Emma is a really good goalie?
No, that's actually right after that.
Okay.
So the girls are practicing by, by just with each other by themselves, and Sam's like, hey, I need to like kick some goals, do you mind like standing in for the goalie? Dad's really been on my no Mom's been really on my back to like make more goals, right? And Emma's like, sure,
Right.
I guess. And we find out that Emma is a natural goalie, guys.
Yeah, and they do this like montage. It's like a slow-mo montage of Sam kicking shots and Emma blocking them.
With
And
her
it's all
fists closed.
yeah. Yeah, hey, she's like volleyball spiking, which I mean, good for her.
Good for
Um
her.
but it's all in slow-mo and it's literally like there's like funky music in the background and just a VO of Sam's voice just saying things like, "Great. Good job.
Nice.
Okay. Nice save." Like, and she does that and it's like goes on for way too long.
Oh,
And I was
like, and
like,
then the kicking leg, and it's like a kicking leg, and you can't even see like Sam's full body.
yeah, and it looks like the same shot over and over again, to be
Oh yeah,
honest.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
kick,
yeah,
like it doesn't look
yeah.
like different kicks. It was like it was a bad montage. Like this was just bad filmmaking.
But the montage that was not as bad was the next montage, which is the playoff montage. Although we should
Wait,
say that. Wait, what?
before the playoffs though,
Okay,
the
we
mom
should say that Sam tries to convince Emma to let the dad know about the whole like I'm a
yeah,
natural good goalie, and Emma's like, nah, man, I'm good. Like I don't want that.
I think it's layered because Richie is their goalie and she doesn't want I think she likes Richie at this point, which makes no sense, whatever. But
Why would you even like
um
that guy? Come on.
I know, but she's like, I think it's layered of I don't want to, take Richie's spot, and also Dad would never agree to change up the like lineup this late. Um,
Yeah.
so before the playoffs, it's like the mom and dad are still fighting, and the tension is high because now not only is the mom mad about what the dad pulled with the kids, still, but now they're rivals because they're coaching opposite teams, and they both want to win the championship.
Mhm.
Um, and so the moms, they have this really random scene that I'm like, why did they even include this? But the mom stops by the dad's store
Oh,
after,
I thought that was so fucking random to say like
yeah,
good luck or whatever.
yeah, she stops by the store to wish him luck at the game. And then literally like in the same sentence, she says that she'll see him at dinner that night. And
Can't
I'm
you
like,
say it at dinner?
yeah, I was like, why did you go to the store to say this when you're literally going to see him at dinner later that night? You could have just said, good luck at the game at dinner. I was so confused why they did that.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Right. So then the playoffs. And before they even start, that's when we get to meet the funeral home sponsor,
Oh
right?
my god. Yes.
So, like we
We
mentioned,
we at Longview Funeral Homes.
Yes. We mentioned at the beginning of the movie, the sponsor for the Buzzards team, the one that Sam is on, the loser team or whatever, that one that the mom is coaching now. Their sponsor is a funeral home, Longview, as
Oh,
Adri
and we
just
should
said.
say that the playoff montage shows that the Hurricanes and the Buzzards are now at the last
Yes.
bracket
Yes.
for their championship.
So as no one is surprised, the movie has the mom's team and the dad's team with the two twins
What?
facing
What?
off against each other in the
I cannot
championship.
believe it.
Um, but there, this Longview guy is so creepy, and his scene goes on for much longer than I would have preferred personally. But
And
one of
he's
the
wearing,
kids,
like, an entire suit and, like, a
yeah,
fedora?
yeah, he's all black, obviously, because he's a funeral home director. Um, and some kid says something. I don't
Like,
remember.
"Never say die,"
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
goes like, "Funny you should say that. Our motto is the opposite."
yeah, yeah. The kid's like, you know our motto, never say die, and he goes, never. Funny, our motto's just the opposite.
Yeah, just weird ass fucker. Um,
Weirdo.
and also, like, did you know that I'm sure you caught this, but, like,
Yeah,
their, entire, like, I guess what is it? Is it catchphrase, motto of Longview Funeral Homes is, "Let your last view be Longview."
yeah, yeah. That was cute. I thought that
And
was
I
clever.
and I thought that was perfect from a marketing standpoint.
Yes. Um, yes. So then we have the kickoff, who's like where they decide who goes first or whatever in the championship. And I wanted to point something out because I don't know if you noticed this, but this was a big mess up. Um, at the kickoff, we have like um, Sam and one other person from the Buzzards, and then the people for the Hurricanes to represent at the kickoff were Richie and this other kid. And this kid, he is noticeably like you can pick him out in a lineup because this kid has like he has a full on mustache.
Oh, wow.
He's a 13-year-old
No,
kid that
I did not see this.
oh yeah, he has a full on mustache first of all. But the reason that this is important is because I definitely recognized him. But when I saw him earlier in the movie, the
Was he on the
entire
Buzzards?
he was the goalie for the Buzzards team. The entire movie and all the Buzzards practices, he was their goalie. And then you get to the kickoff and he is on the Hurricanes all of a sudden.
Well, all of a sudden, we learn that switching goals has double meaning.
Yeah, yeah. He switched. He was like
Even triple meaning, who
he's like,
knows?
oh, Emma and Sam can switch teams. I'll just switch teams. Like what? And yeah, and that along with the fact that he a 13-year-old kid has a full mustache was very interesting to me.
Wow. Are you sure he's not another pair of identical twins? Like
He might be. You never. That's a good. That is a good point. That is a good point. But anyway, so the game. It's the game, and Sam is running slow mo. As she runs towards Emma to like make that last goal
Oh, we
because
forgot to say that Richie got injured. I'm so sorry. Richie gets
yeah, we
injured.
skipped that whole part. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Richie like goes to block a goal and he lands on his shoulder wrong and he hurts his shoulder and he has to sit out the rest of the game. And it's like the last like 30 seconds of the game or something. And the dad like Sam convinces the dad to let Emma be the goalie for the rest of the game. So Sam is it's sister against sister. Sam is running to go make the final goal and it's like will Sam make the goal or will Emma block the goal? And as there's like this slow mo shot of Sam running towards Emma to make the goal. And first of all, that shot is much longer than it needs to be. But it's funny because the announcer is talking the whole time, like as we see her running slow mo. And he says like two or three things. And then at one point he says, tensions building. And it's like, yeah, you've been talking for like 3 minutes while this girl is running in slow mo. I was like, that is a bit too on the nose. Like, yes, the tension is building. You've built it like sufficiently. Can we see the shot? But yes, then wait, I know they end on oh yeah, Emma blocks it. Emma blocks the goal.
Yes, and it is
Um,
now a scoreless tie, so it's zero
yes,
zero.
yes.
And then what my takeaway was like that the parents learn how to be more like each other, and so do the girls. Then we get Greg asking Sam out for real,
As Sam.
and Sam and Richie apologizing to Emma now that he supposedly sees her as an equal because she's a good goalie?
Yeah,
Question
well,
mark. I don't know.
he says like it. Maybe I'm a bit woozy, but I think you're cute or something.
Ugh, such a
And
fucker.
I'm like, you have to justify thinking she's cute with being nauseous.
Mm.
What?
I mean, that's what gets me all the time. All the boys get me with that line. Gross.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
gross.
Speaking of men, of white men, it is time for our white man's corner, where we give a voice to the voiceless in the form of Seth, who I am contractually obligated to say is my husband. um, and he recorded a voice memo that Helene and I have not yet listened to, so we will be reacting to this live on air, as they say in the business, okay?
So
and
excited.
Here we go.
Hi, everybody. I just want to start off and say that this dad is a real bonehead. I sound old, I know it. But these Zoomers see these clothes and go, hell yeah, bro, I want to wear that. And tangentially. I clocked the bully immediately because he's wearing these shin-length shorts and had short hair.
That's what I said.
Sort of buzz cut I had back then. Down at Dad's sporting goods store, they don't do much work. About as much work as the kids in Empire Records did. Maybe retail was asking to die. Anyway, these jobs where you never work and just hang out with your buds all day were the dream of the 90s. It was a beautiful dream. I didn't see that Freaks reference coming. The premise of the movie doesn't really kick in until 23 minutes in, which is a choice. I've never been so glad to see Michael Cera before.
Yes.
It's funny how Title IX happened under Nixon. The English guy dresses just like my high school geometry teacher, Mr. Shirazi. This isn't any reference you should know. It's just part of my lore. I'm really curious to see what the bully's comeuppance is going to be. I'm not a misogynist, and I find her to be a very sympathetic character. But the mom is very, very much like Skylar White. So shout out to Anna Gunn, I guess.
Oh, that's
This movie has too much or not enough plot. I'm not going to be explaining this. And even for the 90s, this movie feels really misogynistic.
Right.
I think the kid with the orthodontic headgear has a slight Canadian accent. Yay for Canuck representation, I guess. I need to let you know, as a parent, the entire time I was watching this movie, I could hear Baby Shark in my head. This is my second favorite movie about siblings who play soccer. The first one is Rudo e Cursi, which is great, and you should watch it. It's really good. Not only do I get the twins confused, I get all the boys confused. They all look like they grew up to be the dad in Cocomelon. The dad here looks like the sort of guy who would think soccer is cultural Marxism. I don't buy this at all. There was a beer hall putsch during the Clinton administration. All the participants would have been these dads. There was some better than average fake 90s R&B, and I appreciated that. Finally, in the third act, we get a customer in the store. Finally. I'm not super clear on what family abolition is, but I kind of want to see it applied to this family. Featured, hey, it's that guy of this movie, is Keith Knight. He's actually Canadian, so they're really doubling down on representing folks from the Great Northern Menace. Turns out the bully's comeuppance is a sports injury, which seems kind of rough. But then he liked her the whole time, and she agrees to go on a date with him? I really don't want my daughter to watch this movie. I think they had one of the twins mime slow motion, but I'm not going to rewind and check, because that would just ruin the mystery for me.
I didn't get a lot of his references this time. He had a lot of like old school references.
Imagine being married to him. It's like, God, I have to Google this now?
Yeah, I mean, I got a good amount of them, but I was like, oh, nope, that one went over my head.
Unbeknownst to me, glanced at his notes as he was taking them, and I was like, what are you referencing about Cocomelon here? And he's like, you'll see, you'll see.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
In this household, we have to watch a lot of Cocomelon, sadly. It is, for lack of a better word, a baby tranquilizer, so.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Well, thanks to our resident white man for explaining this movie to us.
Yeah, thank you,
The
Seth.
the movie that he is referencing stars two of my boyfriends, Gael Garcia Bernal and Diego Luna. So go watch
Wait,
it.
he referenced like a million things. What are you talking about?
He's talking about a soccer movie. Like he said, like his favorite soccer movie of all time
Okay.
is a soccer movie. I'll get the title because I forget the title. All I remember is that it stars my two boyfriends, Diego Luna and Gael Garcia Bernal, which, funny story, my dog is named after one of them. So,
Amazing. Love that.
so the title of the movie is Rudo y Cursi. Rudo space Y space Cursi. It's a Spanish movie.
I mean, the title was in Spanish, so that makes sense.
Yes. So, literally translated to rough and corny. It's a 2008 Mexican sports
Rough and
corny.
what? Oh, okay.
Corny.
Okay.
It's a 2008 Mexican sports comedy drama film starring my boyfriends, as I said before. And it is directed by Carlos Cuaron. It is full, whatever. Don't care about anything else.
Yeah, okay. This is way more information about a movie I've never heard of or didn't need to know the information about.
Well, it is what it is. Anyway, let's go to Feminism 101, which is a pass-fail course here in Growing Up Millennial. Does it pass a Bechdel test?
Yes, because the girls I mean, most of the time the girls talk about Greg and shit, but they do talk about soccer and their dad and the teams.
Yeah, so I would say absolutely. So 100% of that. What was your favorite girl power scene?
I had one favorite, and then I had an honorable mention. So the favorite is when the girl, when Emma is trying to like train Sam on how to like be on the date or whatever, and Sam is like, "Oh, I'm never forget this. I'm never gonna get it. I'm so bad at being a good girl or whatever." And she goes, "Forget it. Is that competitive Sam Stanton? Is that the competitive Sam Stanton that we all know and love? Is that the spirit of the girl who won the 9 and over punt, pass, and kick competition at the age of 7?" And she goes, "You're right. There's no pressure here. He's just a guy."
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And then my honorable mention is when the mom yells, "Who says I wouldn't know the first thing about coaching?" That we mentioned pays off later when she becomes the coach.
So
I
my
like
favorite girl power scene is when Sam convinces her dad to put Emma in as a goalie because she recognizes her innate talent. But my honorable mention, as mentioned previously, is when the mom like walks up to the dad after learning everything and
Mhm.
is like,
Yeah.
speaking of mercy, do not expect any from me or whatever. Yes, beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I like your favorite that you mentioned. I love like girls looking out for girls. Love it.
Yeah.
Great.
So, um, next plot point here at our little podcast. When, I mean, I guess it's just so weird talking about this as an adult, right? Like, who is the better love
Basically,
interest? I
who's the
guess.
better love chance? But obviously, this movie, it's not even a freaking question.
Of
Like,
course not. Like, it's Greg all the way.
yeah, we talked about how Richie was a horrible person the entire movie. So yeah, there's definitely Richie. Like, I feel like it was also really like afterthought. They were like, "Oh, we've had this love interest for Sam the whole time. Emma doesn't have one. Like, we have to throw one in at the end and make it this guy that's been mean to her the whole movie." So yeah, it's Greg has that like adorable nerdy vibe.
Yeah.
So
Well, to be clear, Emma's love interest is being good at sports, basically, right? Like that's her like that's the thing that's the real payoff at the end is that she finds her talent. And Sam's struggle was never sports, it was social.
guys, yeah, it was
So
yeah.
so that's, whatever.
Yeah.
37-year-old me Googled him at present time. Aged very well, let's just say.
Yeah, he does. I looked him up too. He's very, very cute as an adult.
I mean, I'm a married lady, but I can still look.
Trevor Bloomis, Greg, yeah, not
Yes.
Richie. I didn't look up Richie.
Yeah, gross, whatever.
I mean, the kid is probably a good guy. I don't know. Anyway.
Most hated kid in America, that's who. Fashionista or fashion victim. Let's talk about our favorite fashions in here.
Oh my God. I had a lot of thoughts about the fashion here. First of all, like I said, in that very, very first scene, we see Emma. She is wearing the most gorgeous white 3/4 sleeve cardigan that has cherries all over it. And I was like, immediately, I want that in my closet. And then she wears something similar when like the jig is up and her mom finds her at the library and like their lie is revealed. She's wearing a white sweater with bouquets of pink peonies all over it. And I was like, girl, like, I just want your whole closet. However, Sam, not so much. Like overall, like she's fine. Like she's just kind of tomboy, which is not my issue. But there were two specific pieces of clothing that I caught Sam wearing in this movie that made zero sense to me. First of all, when they get dropped off at school and we see that, like, Emma is surrounded by guys and Sam is kind of like just staring at Greg with she is wearing a blue tank top that literally just has a like picture of a cupcake on it.
Yeah, I mean, these outfits to me read very either Wet Seal or Delia's catalog
Yeah.
adjacent.
Well, in the vein of just like a shirt that is just like a solid color with like one random thing in the middle. She later in the movie, she's like trying to trick her mom that she's going into the library instead of going to the to soccer practice. And she's wearing this light, like purpley pinkish shirt with nothing on it except just like a orange, like red rectangle in the middle. It's just that's all. If there's a red rectangle on a purple shirt, and that is it. I was like,
The
what?
90s, man. The 90s were.
What? I've never seen a shirt like that in my life.
Maybe because you're not the Olsen twins, you know? And you weren't living in Toronto.
I guess.
I, for one, am living for, one would say, all
Right.
these Steve Madden slides that are in
The
this
shoes?
movie. Yes.
The shoes? They have them in the ones that they wore in Passport to Paris too, right?
Yeah, no. But I just like the continuity of the Steve Madden of it all.
Those were the shoe back in the day. I really loved those shoes.
All right, so now it's time for the real question, Helene. Does it stand the test of time?
You want to go first?
Oh, sure. Is it goofy? Yes. Is it out of touch? Absolutely. Do I still love it as a 37-year-old? 1,000%. That's it. I dunked on the movie while I was watching it. I would still watch it again. It's sadly, that is my one red flag out of many, I'm sure, but you know.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So the writing and the acting.
So Helene hates it, and she wants to burn my house down because I made her watch it.
I mean, okay, so the writing and the acting are not great. They're not horrible, but they're not great. But I will say there is in a check in the good column is that it's not as sexist as it could have been, or as I honestly was thinking it would be. So, yay.
Wow. A ringing endorsement from Helene.
Yeah, but will I ever watch it again? No. And does it stand the test of time? Probably not.
I mean, does it stand the test of time? No. Will I love it until my dying day? Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I mean,
I will.
if the only scene you need to think about when you're answering the question, does it stand the test of time, is when there's a grown man crying over girls in a boys soccer league.
So it's not when 12-year-olds say that a man with a full-grown beard and sketchy hair situations is like, they're like, oh yeah, he's kind of cute. It's not that?
That was just weird. But
It's
yeah,
just
I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
could do without that cameo, actually. Like,
yeah.
it's like they
Yeah.
wanted David Beckham, but they couldn't get him. Like, I could understand a 12-year-old girl thinking David Beckham is kinda
Maybe
cute.
Alexi Lalas was like a really big deal back then. I didn't pay attention to soccer then, as I don't pay attention to it now. So,
Uh, Speak for yourself. I am a soccer connoisseur. Not only do I love switching goals, I also love Ted Lasso. So, excuse oh, and bend it like Beckham. So
yeah,
I am you are
and
speaking to
and
a
and
soccer scholar, you know?
and she's all not she's all that. She's the man.
She's the man. Yes. You're speaking to a soccer scholar asterisk
Yeah,
soccer as portrayed
yeah. Like
in media.
here, I'll just say if you asked me if I wanted to watch a movie about soccer where someone pretends to be someone else to win a soccer game, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's watch She's the Man. Not switching goals. Not switching goals. I'm sorry.
Switching goals crawled so she's the man could run.
Sure, sure. I will. Fine. I'll give that to you.
All right, with that ringing endorsement from Helene, let's go to our segment that we call Back to the Future, which as if you ever listen to Ocupolitics, and why would you at this point if you haven't, is a segment where we would talk about the media we've been consuming recently. So, Helene, what have you been occupying your time with?
Well, I'm an avid Love Is Blind fan, and season 5 has started. It has like I think maybe like 5 episodes out or something. Sorry, Lily, my cat is trying to eat my
My real
computer.
question is, Helene, is it worth it for me to get invested at this point?
Well, what do you mean? Like just this season or in
Yes,
general?
this season.
Um, I'm liking it. There's like some unexpected drama in this season that
Oh,
we've
I
never
read about
gotten.
it already.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have spoiled myself.
Yeah, I mean, I am liking it, but I think I'm kind of like biased because I just love Love Is Blind. But I mean, yeah, I would watch it if I were you. The sad thing is there are only 2 viable couples left.
Oh my god, that
So
sounds like when they're freezing embryos and they're like, "There's only however many embryos that are
yeah,
viable."
because like when you're in the pods and they're like showing like who's gonna propose to who or whatever, it looks like there are gonna be 4 really solid couples, and now there are only 2. So
Oh, sad. Okay, well, I might. Who
but
knows?
I'm liking it. So yeah,
Okay.
Love Is Blind, season 5, and then I've been listening to this podcast called Boys Watching Buffy, which they you might know them from they had their original podcast that they got like popular on was called Boys Watching Girls, and that was
Uh-huh.
like it was a rewatch podcast. Well, not even rewatch. It was just a watch podcast because they hadn't seen it of the show Girls on HBO Max with Lena Dunham. And it was like 2 boys who had never seen it before, had know nothing about it, watching it for the first time and like giving their thoughts. And it's the same thing now. They're doing it with Buffy, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Potterless. It's very much Potterless vibes, where like these straight dudes are watching a thing, and they don't know anything about it. Um, and I'm liking it for the most part. There are some things where it's like, I love this show and I make excuses for this show because Buffy is the best show to ever exist on the planet. And so I make excuses for it left and right because it's amazing and I will fight for it till I die. So when there are things I like rip apart on it that I'm like, shut up. but but overall I'm enjoying it, and it's getting me to rewatch the show again, which I do like at least once a year anyway. So I've been rewatching Buffy while listening to the podcast, like episode by episode.
So, my only comment on this is that I am so glad that straight white men are getting the representation
Hey,
that they
one of
so
the guys is
deserve.
black. The reason I didn't say straight white man is because there is a white guy
Oh,
and a
I'm
black
so
guy.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm
So
so sorry. That I am so happy that men are getting the representation they deserve in podcasting. We don't hear enough
Right.
about men
So,
in
I mean,
podcasts.
okay, so here's the thing. In general, I don't usually want straight men's opinions on Buffy. Like, that's not opinion I'm usually looking for. However, if you ever listen to the best Buffy podcast, which I've recommended on other podcasts, is Buffering the Vampire Slayer, which is led by two queer women who were married to each other and then got divorced um, during the podcast.
Ooh, drama.
Yeah, it's a very, very good podcast. I think that the two queer woman perspective is so much more interesting than the two straight men perspective. However, Buffy is kind of a show where guys kind of don't, they think it's too girly, right? Like, guys don't usually watch Buffy unless it's just not normal for guys to like seek out watching Buffy on their own without being like asked to by their girlfriend or whatever. You know what I mean? Um, so it is interesting to hear like two dudes watching this and like whether or not they like that's their opinion. I mean, I don't always agree with what they have to say, but it's interesting.
I'm just out here still trying to dissect the drama that is starting a podcast while you're married to someone and then going through the process of a divorce and still hosting that podcast with
Yeah,
the same person.
they finished the entire series. They got divorced probably I think it was like around season 3 or 4. Um and now I mean they're still best friends because of it. Like because they kept doing the podcast. I highly recommend Kristen and Jenny on Buffering the Vampire Slayer. Like they're a great duo and yeah, they do talk about getting divorced while on the podcast.
Wow. Okay. Well, the media I have been consuming is A Discovery of Witches, which is a adaptation of a book series that made it into I think it's 8 episode a season
Right.
miniseries. It is available on Max right now.
Okay.
This is not my first watch. This is probably like
I
my
was
second
gonna
watch.
say, I was
I've
wondering if you were talking about the show or the books because I feel like if you've mentioned this before.
I've read the books
Okay.
twice, I think, or 3 times.
Nice.
They're pretty dense books, as in like they're pretty lengthy. So it's not like I can reread one
Right.
over and over again. Um, I think that it stands pretty well on its own as an adaptation. Like you don't need to read the source material
Yeah.
to enjoy it, but if you want to read the source material and then enjoy it before or after, it both bring different things to the table. Let's
Right.
just say, right? The casting, spot on, beautiful. I
Love it.
am forever in love with this one character that we get to meet in season 2. It's not the main guy. It's not the one you should be rooting for, but even in the books and in the adaptation, it's just he just does it for me, guys. Like I'm not gonna name names. You guys
Okay.
can guess.
Okay.
I don't know if Helene, you'll be watching this at
I
any
probably
point
will.
in your life.
I probably will.
But it's pretty good. And unless I'm not going to say prestigious, in less serious notes, I've been watching the reboot of DuckTales with David Tennant voicing Scrooge McDuck. It's
Are you
pretty
watching
nice.
that with Livy or just like for yourself?
I mean, I'm watching it for myself because she doesn't sit still when it's going on. Like she doesn't,
Yeah.
she's not of the age where that entrances her as it does to me.
Right.
She is in the room with me though.
Okay. Yeah, my sister is a huge DuckTales fan and
I
yeah.
loved the original, and this one's pretty good too.
Yeah, I definitely know the theme song because I've heard that in my
Mm-hmm.
household growing up, but
Because life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg.
do you want to just do a whole rendition of it right now?
No, thank you. I am a poet, but I feel like that poetry is better left to professionals.
That's so mature of you.
Ugh, I am 37 years old, as I am reminded of every day by myself.
Well, thank you. I definitely do think I'll check out Discovery of Witches. I mean, I watched all 5 seasons of The Magicians.
Oh, it's much better than this.
Yeah.
Like it's much better than The Magicians. Like
Yeah, and like I kind of hate watched The Magicians at some points. And really the only reason I like kept coming back is because they made multiple Buffy references. Like, if you want me to like stick around, all you gotta do is make a Buffy reference, is all I gotta say.
Also, I will say that I have to give a slight trigger warning here that the book 3 of A Discovery of Witches set is there's a lot of description that people might find unsettling. That the adaptation actually, I don't want to say skirts over, but like makes it much less of a traumatic deal. It ends up being very traumatic in the adaptation, right? Let me be clear. But not nearly enough as traumatic as the book series. Like that series, book 3 is very traumatic. It's something big happens. It does happen in the adaptation, but it's much less triggering. It's like a softer thing. Like they soften it enough for me.
Yeah, I tend to be completely fine with watching something and then reading the adaptation. I don't always feel like I need to read the adaptation first. And I don't think it doesn't usually color how I
it's good. I think it's gonna be great. But I just want to, for listeners out there, hey, the book is much more graphic and, for me at least, personally traumatic than the visual adaptation was. I was a little bit worried about the visual adaptation for a little bit because I was like, shit, is it gonna be as like graphic and traumatizing as the book for me? And it wasn't. So just, heads up.
Cool. Thank you. All right, well, that's it for our sports talk. We're headed down under on our next episode with the Dualstar Entertainment true crime documentary, Our Lips Are Sealed. In the words of NSYNC, bye, bye, bye.
Growing Up Millennial is an independent entertainment podcast hosted and produced by Helene Karp and Adri Wilson. Our conversations in every episode fall under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, identifying criticism and comment of copyrighted material as examples of activities qualifying as fair use. Helene Karp manages our social media. Adri Wilson edits our audio and does all our graphics. You can let us know your thoughts by emailing us at gummypod@gmail.com. That is gummypod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram @gummypod, and we are also a newsletter. Go check us out at gummypod.substack.com.